It's a Friday morning. Welcome to Mindshift Friday. Every Friday, we bring you interesting conversations to provoke your thinking, to get to see things from a different perspective, to scrutinize some of the things we have believed, and that kind of thing. Now, today, we want to talk about self-compassion and acceptance. Are you good to yourself? Or are you very harsh with yourself? Most of us are very harsh with ourselves. In fact, I once heard somebody say that if your friend spoke to you the way you speak to yourself in your mind, you would not keep them as a friend, because we tend to be very harsh with ourselves. Have you accepted yourself? Interesting concepts to learn. Today we get to hang out with Priscilla Wangare. Priscilla is a life coach, a trainer, many things to many people. How are you doing? Karibu sana.
Thank you.
It's
Pleasure
good to have
meeting
you in studio.
Asante sana, finally.
Yeah. What kind of trainings do you do?
I'm a sales and customer service trainer, but I'm also a life skills coach, mainly with interest on self-awareness, mental wellness, and stress management.
Why is self-awareness important to you?
Self-awareness is important to me because at the end of the day, as a trainer, if you focus on the professional, and not get the person in the professional right, you have lost it. So for me, it's about being human being before you become a human doing.
Ooh.
Yes.
Umeanza mapema. Yeah, tweetable moments. Human being before you become a human
doing. Yes. Because before you, the professional, you exist the person.
Very true.
Yes.
And if the person is messed up,
yes,
the professional will be messed up. Self-compassion and acceptance. How would you define that?
I'll define self-compassion and acceptance as intentionally prioritizing yourself. It has to be intentional. Intentionally prioritizing yourself.
That's a hard concept to grasp. And the reason I'm saying that is, all our lives we've been taught, when you focus on you, you're being selfish. Yeah, and so when I'm putting myself first, I'm being selfish. So how does that work out?
I'm a Christian. I'm a strong believer of the Bible. And the word tells us, because it's our manual, love your neighbors as you love yourself. So self comes before neighbor. If you don't know how to love yourself, how will you love others?
How would you love your neighbors? Okay.
Yes. And you see, the Bible is our manual. So if you want to know how to operate your life, it is very clear.
Okay.
Yes.
Self-compassion. Would you say, with the different people you talk to and the different trainings you do, would you say a good number of us have an idea or have grasped the concept of self-compassion and self-acceptance and even self-awareness?
Partially, yes, to some extent. But you see, self-acceptance and self-compassion starts with you appreciating your originality. Being at peace with your past and where you came from.
Okay.
Understanding your origin, just like a river. You have to understand your origin first. Make peace with your past. Self-acceptance starts there. At the family unit where you're born.
Yes.
Yes. Because some of the things that are eating us at this level of maybe workplace or marriage, you dig deeper and it goes down to childhood. Sometimes
I wonder if we understand how much our past has affected us. Because especially if you're coming from a past you didn't like, many of us want to run away from it as far as possible and not even refer to it. Yeah. I don't even want to be associated with it. Are you saying that's a bad thing?
It depends with the perspective.
Okay.
And how you allow it to affect your current life. Let me give an example. If you're a man and you marry a lady who was brought by a single mom, and you, that is gentleman A, and there's gentleman B, you're marrying a lady who has been brought up by both parents. These two marriages will have two different dynamics.
True.
Because there's this lady who was brought up by a single mom. There's a way she's not used to Kiswahili or Kenya, like joto ya wanaume around. You know, they're not used to that command. They're not used to that protection. At some point, she will be masculine, trying to protect herself because she's used to it.
That's what she saw.
That's what she saw. That's what she's grown up knowing.
Yeah.
So until you come to her way of thinking and trying to understand her perspective of life, it will be very different. And then the gentleman B, there's this lady who has been brought up by a father. So she has something to compare you with.
Yes.
Either good or bad.
Yeah.
So there are things you'll be doing and she goes like, my dad. Or maybe probably even the characteristics she'll be checking on while dating. She could be looking for features of her dad.
Yeah.
Maybe what she likes or she doesn't like.
Why is it that there's some people who are, let me say, they lack compassion for themselves? The people who are so harsh with themselves. Where does that come from?
Most of the time it is childhood trauma. And childhood trauma mainly out of, should I say, a gap in parenting, maybe a hostile home, or you know, these kids who just grew by default, let me say.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
In our society, tunasema nilijilea, you know.
Nilijilea tu,
So they tend to be harsh on themselves because at some point you find such kind of a person maybe trying to blame themselves for what happened. Or they feel the need to be overprotective with fear that it will happen again.
Yes.
You know? And some, it is also what they were used to. You know, we feed our minds through hearing and seeing. Maybe what are you preaching to your child all the time? You know, you might be preaching to your child all the time, uko na kichwa kubwa, or mjinga wewe, or you're too short. Sooner or later, it will catch up with this child at whatever age.
Yes.
And it will affect how they look and view themselves. Yeah.
I've heard that people who are perfectionists tend to be so hard on themselves because they expect their performance level to be here. So when it is here, they're very harsh with themselves. Is that a healthy thing?
I won't say it's healthy. Because you see, if you over-expect from others and they don't meet your standards, back to my book, you look at them as idiots.
Idiots, yes.
Blessed are those who don't expect from others, for they shall not be disappointed.
Yes, and
I just added commandments.
And neither will they call others idiots.
Idiots,
yes.
Neither, yeah. So if you over-expect from others and they don't meet your expectations, you'll be continuously be disappointed. Sooner or later, it will affect your self-esteem. It will affect your relationship with others. If it's a workplace, you will lose relationships, even at home. Because you see, as I said, we are different in our own ways.
Yeah.
Either how we were created and also the upbringing, the religion, the education system, the environment, the experiences, even past work experiences. There are people who come from very toxic work environments. So when they find themselves in a not toxic environment, they still look for signs of toxicity which does not exist.
Because that's what they were used to.
Because that's what they know.
That became the norm for them.
To them, that is workplace. So when they find you in a homely workplace, they are wondering, when are you stopping acting this movie and be real?
It's like you're waiting for just one day will come here and the real will
it looks
manifest.
like a trap. It doesn't look real.
So you end up even becoming suspicious.
Definitely. It doesn't look authentic because there's what they were used to. And you see now with the generational gaps, there's different generations are defining self-compassion differently. As age goes.
Yes.
You know, I was reading a quote yesterday. You discover you're old when going home and doing nothing to you is happiness.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
There's nothing like that.
Yes.
It's interesting you said that I was teaching a discipleship class.
Yes.
And I remember telling the young people, if there's one thing I love, is just to go home.
And do nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I'm officially old, ladies and gentlemen. I'm officially old.
Or getting to a matatu that is silent.
Yes.
To you, that is divine.
That is divine, man.
Yeah, and that's why our matatus in Nairobi, they'll put a sticker. The music is not loud. You're just old.
You're just old.
Yes.
What would you say are the benefits of self-compassion?
Number one, and the biggest one for me, is it works on your self-esteem big time.
Okay.
You see, it's all about how you view the ideal self, how you see yourself before how others see you.
Yes.
Because it projects. You know, there's one day, the late Aurirogo Manduli, may her soul rest in peace, she was asked a question. Do you think someone else can look good in your clothes? And she said, it's not about the clothes, it's how I walk.
Hey. Okay.
You know, you can have a very expensive suit.
Yes.
But when your steam is down and you're walking like you're apologizing to the ground, we will not know Percy's around.
You're walking like you're apologizing to the ground. You're walking style gani.
Like, you know, like a cat on water. And I can just be putting my Gekomba 50 bob dress well ironed. But when I step in, you guys know Priscilla has arrived.
She has come.
You command the space. Yeah, you own it. So self-esteem, key. Number two, compassion influences your mental awareness. Mental health and awareness, which I'm so passionate about. And I think at this point I should mention I've also authored a book on the same.
Oh, really?
2 months ago. It's called Disconnect.
Disconnect.
Yeah, we need to disconnect some things.
From our lives.
Yeah, some disconnect permanently, others disconnect partially. And reconnect back. And it'll be just fine. We are not psychic.
Okay.
So, mental wellness. And at this point, I always ask myself, if right now you have a pain on your leg, you'll take it so seriously and run to hospital. But when you're feeling you're mentally disoriented, why don't you take it with the same weight? And you see, this is everything.
This is everything.
Yeah.
It's because people can't see it, and because probably I can still function in a sense. And the pain is it's not like physical pain, you know. There's a pain in my leg, it's affecting how I walk, I'm feeling pain. For some reason, it seems more urgent. But for some reason, we tell ourselves,
but you see, if you're watching our news currently, most of the issues that are happening, the suicide, the domestic violence, the toxic workplaces, you know, there was a headline the other day on the newspaper that majority of Kenyans have psychologically signed out of work.
Wow.
Which affects the economy more than inflation.
Wow.
Simply because it's not painful doesn't mean we can't feel the impact.
Yes.
The impact is huge. But since it's not painful until it goes to the extreme, and you see most of the time, how do we find ourselves there? There's what we call there's what we call the clock theory. Psychological clock, and the psychological time and the clock time. Psychological time is where your mind focuses on the past and the future most of the time. And most Kenyans, that's where we are.
Yes.
We are wondering so much about where we came from and where we are going.
We are worried about where we are going.
Yeah, we are not enjoying the clock time, which is now. Like now for me, clock time is now. I'm here with you, finally. I should enjoy this conversation. Not wondering about how the traffic was in the morning and how it's going to be immediately after this. Because when I start looking at the psychological time, which is past and future, then I miss out.
Miss out on now.
Yeah, on the power of now. And you see, even the Bible, God defined himself using the power of now. I am who I am.
Not I was or
not I will be.
No, I am.
I am who I am.
Yes.
It's the power of now. And that's where now the humanity part comes in.
Okay.
Your supernatural, the power of now.
Now.
How do you appreciate the power of now?
Wow. Sometimes we are so worried about tomorrow. Now passes us by.
All the time.
Or we have such regrets about yesterday.
Like now we are having a new government.
Mm.
And I can tell you, people who are stressed with this government are focusing about the psychological time.
Mm-hmm. True.
The history we've had.
Yes.
And what we think he will do in future.
Yes.
Still we are not seeing what he is doing currently.
Now, yes.
And we are not enjoying what's happening. So we are missing opportunities. Because we are so drunk with the psychology time.
That is so true.
Which is human. But you have to be intentional with life. Very intentional.
Okay. I'm curious, how does one begin this journey? This journey of self-compassion, this journey of acceptance. Where do I begin it?
Where do you begin? I'll go back to being purposeful with life.
Okay.
Understand your purpose.
Yeah.
Understand your why. Why do I exist?
You know, I've had different guests come in to talk about purpose. And I don't know why the purpose question gets so confusing and so hard for many people. Yeah. People can't grasp it. It seems way out there.
Let me give you an example, which I like giving in my trainings. And I love using example of our Kenyan men with nyama choma.
Hallelujah.
We know ourselves. I'm one of them. I can't run a butcher. I will eat stock.
Utakula stock.
So, a Kenyan man will give you a date in Thika Road. Fuel his car 3,000 to go and eat quarter meat in Kitengela of 800 bob, probably. Ask them why 3,000 to go and eat 800.
800.
And they will tell you it's not about the meat. Kuna kamze pale vileo ni handle. It's the handling. Then it means, it doesn't mean there are no nyama chomas in Thika Road. There is.
Yeah.
But there's that one mzee in Kitengela. Probably even the restaurant or the place doesn't look so good.
Yes.
Like it's like a kibandaski.
Yes.
Mtakalia logs. But when the meat comes, you'll understand why the journey.
Oh, yes.
So it means the people in that business, all of them know what they do. They know what they do. You ask them, what do you do? They'll tell you. But this mzee, according to this client, understands why he does what he does. In the process, the why has influenced how he does it. I see.
Yes.
How he does it.
How he does it is different
because
from every other nyama choma place.
Yes, because he understands why. When you understand, even if you go to Moya Avenue, you'll find several boutiques, but there's this one that is busy.
True.
All of them are selling clothes, but this one specific understands why they are doing what they are doing. So in the process, how they're doing it is different.
It's interesting you say that because somebody told me about this gentleman he was introduced to. He has a shop, he sells clothes. But when you ask him what he doesn't tell you he sells clothes. He says he dresses people.
Wow.
And when you enter, he looks at you, your size, your shape, and he knows what goes well with your body and what doesn't. And if you try and buy something that doesn't go well with, you will have a hard time buying it from him.
Now, are you seeing that he has packaged himself as an image consultant in his own small way? That's why he's carrying the day. It's how he has packaged. And what has influenced his packaging? Understanding his purpose in that business. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Because until you attach the why.
And it's not to make money.
When money is the objective, you failed.
You failed.
Because not all the time money will come.
True.
Will you still wake up and go when money doesn't show up?
So if I get you right then, it means, because like I said, a lot of people complicate this purpose thing. What I'm getting from you is, even if I haven't found the purpose for my life, I need to understand whatever it is I'm doing now, why am I doing it?
What makes me stand out?
Yes.
Because I'm not...
If I know why,
Yes.
then my how will even be better.
Why you're doing it is what makes you stand out. What makes you different from the others. Why you? Why should we choose you? Then when you understand your why, then your self-compassion changes. You even change how you dress, how you greet, the people you associate with,
Yes.
the contacts you pick.
Yes.
You just don't pick any business card. You know which one to pick, which one to
one
drop.
to-
You
yeah.
behave like an African river. You've been to the village, right?
Yes.
The river knows when to go fast, when to go
Yes.
slow, when to go up the rocks, when to go under, when to pick that, and when to drop.
I want to drop. It's interesting you mentioned a river because
It's the concept of why.
yes, just this morning somebody was telling me about a river, and they were using the illustration of a river and saying, when you think about a river, it chooses the path of least resistance. That's why it never flows in a straight line. It's always looking for mahali gani nitapitia. And I think also it's in
And it knows when to join the ocean and when to
and
exit.
exactly. Yeah.
If only we can apply the concept of the river in our lives. And that's why I said God was very artistic in his creation. He's defining our lives through the life of a river in so many ways. But why are we missing it out? Because you're not enjoying the moment.
Yes. We are worried about the
The
past,
human
the future.
being. We are human doings. That's why I meet you. The first thing I ask, so what do you do?
Yeah.
So depending with what you answer and how prestigious I value what you do, it will determine how far this relationship will go.
Yes.
Or maybe hata nitakunyima namba.
Bas.
Ama nitakupatia alafu nikublock.
True.
Depending with how, what do
Yes.
you do. Now we are human doings. We are no longer
We're
human
no longer
beings.
human beings.
No wonder you look at people walking around and we look like we are constipated. Like our faces are so serious.
Drink water.
Watu wa chemist wache kutuzia hizo dawa. We just need a smile and enjoying
Yeah,
the
everybody
moment.
has such a lemon face. People are stressed out.
We are stressed out, and you know, the journey of compassion also takes you to understand how our minds operate. Like our minds don't understand the mathematical sign of subtraction and division. Our minds understand multiplication and addition. Whatever you put in, it will add and multiply. So, and I always like using the analogy of a monkey. If I tell you right now, whatever you're going through, give it an image of a monkey. And I plant that one monkey. Then I tell you the next thing, think of the next monkey. Maybe your monkey is your kids. Those are 4 nice monkeys in your house looking like you. Then your wife, another monkey, inspired one, in fact. Then your boss, another motivated one. You'll notice in a flash, you will have all these monkeys in your head. Now, the more you try to forget about them, the more they become.
Yes.
But what did I do? I planted one. That's why I always told, be keen what you feed your ears and your eyes.
Today we are looking at self-compassion and acceptance in studio with me, Priscilla Wangare, a life coach, giving us some tips on how to start this journey of accepting yourself and having compassion for yourself. Self-talk. Oh, we have a lot of conversations with ourselves. What's the place of self-talk in this journey?
Self-talk is everything because you're your biggest champion.
Oh, I like that.
If you don't celebrate you, who will? If you don't love you, who will? And you see, we say you teach other people how to handle you by how you handle yourself.
Wow.
How people are handling you, you taught them that.
You taught them that.
Because it's you who puts the boundaries. So they know, with Pastor James, there's a red line.
Hapa ufiki.
Ukizidi hapa, if you go this way, even your kids know. They know which button to press.
That's why they keep pushing the boundaries to see where is the limit.
How far can you
How far?
stretch?
Yes.
Yeah. And also it's the ability of understanding when to gift yourself. There's what we call a gift of no.
Yes.
You need to learn to gift yourself a no every day. Know when to remove the no card. And that's where now our young people are coming in. Do you know when to say no to that party?
Yes.
Do you know when to say no to that friend, that call, that relationship? Gifting yourself no, until you understand, even in business, that not every deal belongs to you.
Yeah.
Not every appointment, whether you attend the party or you don't, it will happen. It will not be cancelled because you did not come.
Yeah.
So understanding when to gift yourself a no.
A no. How do you overcome self-judgment? Especially if you are looking back and there's so many mistakes you've made, or so many opportunities that you've wasted. And so you're so hard on yourself because you blame yourself for the predicament you're facing because of the unwise choices you made in the past. So how do you overcome that self-judgment?
By not allowing the past to define you. Life is a journey. Pick the lessons, learn from them. And I still go back to the river.
Yeah.
You need to see what you need to pick, run with, what to drop. Because at the end of the day, everybody has a story.
Yeah.
Life is a story.
Yeah.
You know? And in the process of writing a story, you will incur a lot of obstacles. You will face a lot of hurdles. You know? And again, the aspect of learning to gift yourself knows as you go. So you need to understand that there's nothing like a stress-free life. Stress-free life is a fallacy. It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah. Even a newborn has stress right now. Why? Their mommy is not showing up with the milk. Yeah, the house girl is giving them a pump, so they're not feeling. So stress is part of life. But I say it's like spice. You put too little, you don't feel it. You put too much, so it has to be moderate. And who is the moderator? Yourself.
Yourself.
Nobody knows how to handle you better than you. And that's why I said you teach us how to handle you. Be your best champion. Celebrate your little wins. Don't allow your mistakes to define you. Learn to embrace life.
What if, especially if the mistakes are public, and now the people around you keep using the mistake to define you? It's like you have this title because of what you did. Yeah. How do you break free from that? Because dealing with yourself is one thing, but having to deal with others who keep reminding you of your mistake, who keep attaching you to the mistake. You try to make 2 steps forward, somebody grabs you and takes you back to your mistake. Where hakuna kitu unatuambia? Si wewe ndio uli. How do you overcome that?
Now you see, by that moment you already know. You already, like, let's say a sibling. You have these siblings. By now you understand what to expect from every sibling. Manage what to expect. Inspect what to expect as you manage what to expect.
Inspect what to expect.
And manage how to expect. What to expect from everybody.
Yeah.
There's this Kenyan phrase that has been running around. Mwalimu wa maths hapa ni wapi?
Hapa ni wapi mwalimu wa maths?
It should just tell you that we have learned to inspect what to expect from mwalimu wa maths. So kuna vile, there are things when they tell us, we don't take with that weight, we make fun out of it. We don't allow it to puncture.
For me, I keep thinking, this generation was traumatized by maths teachers. It's like everybody has a story about a maths teacher. But what you're saying is true.
But you see, as Kenyans, why even our mental issues are rising, we have come up with a coping mechanism of making fun out of very serious issues.
Yes, and it's not good.
Yeah, and creating hashtags.
Yes.
So it's fun online, it's fun in public, till you go to your house and it hits you, it slaps you differently. It slaps you
differently. Yeah. Or it's fun if the joke is on somebody else.
Yes.
But when it flips and now the joke is on you.
It slaps differently.
Ooh, it slaps differently.
So you see, as a society, our coping mechanism has become jokes.
Jokes. And printing t-shirts.
And printing t-shirts.
Yeah, mambo ni mata.
Tuko na mambo ngapi saizi?
Faith, hope and love. It is so true.
So we are not taking things with the weight.
Is it a form of masking?
Yes.
Numbing the pain?
You see, people don't fake mental wellness, mental disorders. People fake being okay.
Oh,
I call
like
it the I'm
that.
fine fallacy. How many times do you
like
tell
that.
people ask you, how are you doing? And you say, I'm fine. And inside, you're dead. Just say, I'm not okay. I'm not fine.
I'm not fine.
Yeah, but we always say, I'm fine.
But do you know, we don't know how to deal with I'm not fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why we need this conversation seriously
Yes.
on a national platform.
I usually like doing this experiment and telling people, next time somebody asks you, how are you? Tell them, I'm not fine, and see their reaction. People freeze because it's not the norm. And you start regretting asking that question because now that they're told you they're not fine, you must do something.
But can we as a society normalize checking on each other? Because you see, by the time your colleague is committing suicide, they gave you some signs.
The issue is not checking on each other. For me, I think the issue is being authentic. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's being authentic. The other day I was having a conversation with some people, and I was asking somebody, why are you blaming me? And yet all this time I keep asking how you are, and you say you're fine. So if you say you're fine, who am I to judge and say you're not fine? I always ask you how you are, you say you're fine. But now you're blaming me for not doing something about your issue. But I never knew you had an issue because you never said you had an issue. Every time I inquired, you said you're fine.
What I meant by checking,
Yeah.
you see, when a computer has an error or
Yeah.
a machine,
Yeah.
it will give you an error message. When a human being has an error in our minds, we'll give you a message, either behavior, it could be behavior, it could be, what else? Something will show that is unusual. Let me put it at the context of workplace.
Yeah.
Maybe Priscilla never used to miss lunch. Now suddenly she's missing lunch.
Maybe Priscilla is on a diet.
You should be triggered to ask.
Yeah. Hey, squeeze in here.
What's up? Ama this person, suddenly they are sleeping on their desk too much. Or they are emotionally, the other one is emotional.
They're just disconnected.
They're emotionally ranting. An email meant for one person, they are copying the whole company, including the chairman. Something they never used to do. That's an emotional outburst. They are communicating, I'm not fine. Others become spendthrift. They just spend carelessly. Others, they become too emotional. Everything is a mountain.
Yeah.
Others become so isolated. There's a signal.
But we ignore.
And you see, for parents, your child might withdraw. And you know what, it was Squeezy, they're very interesting. Eh?
Yeah.
They leave and write on the door, please knock before you
please
enter.
knock before you excuse me.
And then as a parent, you tell your friends, my child has really grown, they're having swag, they've even put on their door. Can you be interested to know why this change of behavior?
There's a dad. The child put that sign on the door. Do you know what the dad did?
Yeah.
Alingoa mlango.
I'm sure alipata Kenya alikuwa anatafuta.
Alingoa mlango. Ati, please knock before you enter. I'm the one who pays rent in this house. We will remove the doors where people will knock.
Pastor James, I can tell you, God is no longer sending us babies on earth, sending us small fellows. They're being born with attitude and entitlement. You know, during our time, we could hear our mothers say, we are going to mother so-and-so. After 2 weeks, kukunywa chai ya mtoto amefungua macho. Nowadays, as the CS is going on, they're already looking at the doctor like, you know, you put them at the nursery and they're looking at the walls like, do you guys have Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
You already have attitude at the point of birth.
Wow.
So how
Small fellows.
These are small fellows. They're coming up with and then top up CBC.
Hey.
At PP2, I don't know, they're already learning critical thinking. So they can look at you and know this one doesn't have critical thinking. do you fail to see when these kids are drifting? You know, things have changed.
Things have changed.
We can't parent the same
way we used to parent.
Yeah, but most importantly is being keen to look out.
Okay.
Yeah, be the community that you want. Normalize, you know, let's not be too digital.
Yeah.
Check, you know, I see nowadays we are traveling to Shago to visit cousins and grannies, and we reach there, after hi, everybody goes to their phones. And you're like, why did you come? You should have done a Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
You should have done
a Zoom. Very true.
At what point are parents taking these phones and putting them aside and telling these kids, go and play?
Yes, go and play.
And let us also interact and ask, so how have you been? Of late, you've lost weight.
Yes.
You're no longer talking in the family WhatsApp group. These are the tell signs of depression and what have you.
Wow. How do you, when we talk about self-compassion and acceptance, how do you deal with imperfections? Because none of us is perfect. Yeah. Each one of us has something we are thinking, So how do you deal with those issues of your life or those things in your life that are imperfections?
First is acknowledging that life itself is imperfect. Even biblically, we are not perfect. Nobody is perfect.
Nobody's perfect. Not even one.
So from the biblical perspective, that's our origin, imperfection. Okay? So once you understand that, then now you go customize it to your setup.
Yeah.
And see, what can I handle? What can I not handle? Which areas do I need other people to help me? Either family or professionals. Which ones do I need to learn to live with? Because, you know, there are some things you might just have to learn to live with.
To live with, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But how do you live with them without them impacting you negatively? You control the impact. Meanwhile, you're trying to see how you don't pass the same to the next generation so that you cut the cycle.
What if this imperfection is something that people keep making fun of? Baka hata umepewa nickname.
As Coach Burale says,
as
Coach Burale says, wear your scar like a crown.
Ah, I like that.
The minute I accept it, then you have nothing to make fun about.
True. True.
Because you see, it will only hurt me because I've not accepted it.
Yeah.
Because to you, that's like a scar. You keep on throwing it at me to hurt. Now I've embraced. It's like someone calling you ugly or calling you a cow, and then you say, I'm a cow, so what next? The conversation ends. Embrace your scars.
Yes. Unataka maziwa? You're a cow. Do you want milk?
The conversation ends. So there's some scars you just have to embrace.
Yeah.
Yeah. And be proud of yourself and wear it like a crown. And the criticism will end because there's nothing to talk about.
Very, very true. I think sometimes there's some issues we're so focused on and the people around us don't even notice. But we are so focused on it, it becomes such a strong issue in our life. But the people around us are so fixated on their own issues, no one is noticing you have a big head. Where tu ndio unajiambiaga. Watu wengine hata ukiwaambia watakuuliza, what are you talking about? But for you, you've told yourself, it's like the people who have, what is this mental health illness called? Anorexia. Anorexia ndio ile mtu anaonaga tu yeye ni mnono. Akikula ana throw up, akikula ana throw up. Somebody's thin like this, but in their minds, they've convinced themselves they are ugly, they are fat. And I think it goes back to what you said earlier when it comes to the self-talk. What do we tell ourselves? Because I believe with our minds, what you tell yourself consistently, your mind embraces and believes.
Remember the Bible says, when God was creating us, he said, let's create out of our own image.
Yeah.
Now, God created through the word. Let there be.
Yeah.
That's how powerful your words are. So, whatever you confess, finally you possess. So do you understand the power of the tongue?
Yeah. True.
Yeah. Do you, and remember I've said you teach people how to handle you. Some of these disrespects we are having, it's because you allowed it.
We have allowed it.
Yeah, people don't know, hey, hapa ni red line, hapo. Nenda pole pole.
Sometimes you're afraid to confront people and say, this is not acceptable. Yeah.
Can you let people understand how to handle you what you can take, what you cannot take.
Very, very true.
And I love the kids who are coming up, the alpha generation.
Yes.
These kids are just telling you, Mom, that one, no.
No. Situona juzi mwingine akisomea waheshimiwa huko Uasin Gishu.
Antidepressant, unajua?
I'm thinking like,
yeah.
Ni wanani?
And then, you know, it to some people it looked rude.
Rude, yeah.
But you see, she's just teaching them how to handle her. Like, this is my status. This is me. This is what I'm going through. I'm not faking it.
Yeah.
I'm not okay.
What you see is what you get.
What you see is what you get. No makeup.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
I'm telling
that's
you.
the generation we're having.
Wow.
And that's why we're having all these clashes at our workplace.
At workplaces.
Because you see, every other generation is looking at the other like a problem.
Yes. Very true. Imagine my producer is telling me we're out of time.
Really?
Yes. What's your parting shot? Imagine our time is up.
This was very interesting conversation. My parting shot is we as a society, we need to go back and learn to be human beings again.
I like that.
And we have to know that people don't fake mental illness. People fake being okay.
Fake being okay.
Stop the word, I am fine, when you're not.
When you're not.
And lastly, avoid the selfish word I. Life is not all about you. There are other people involved.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm out of time for Mind Shift Friday. Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. Until next time, God bless.
Thank you for watching. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can get notified whenever we upload new fresh content every day. Stay tuned and enjoy fresh, uplifting content.